Best of traditional wedding. Gbogbo olólùfẹ́ rẹ̀ ń retí rẹ̀. Best of traditional wedding. Ẹ̀bùn lóríṣiríṣi many gives away. Best of traditional wedding. Kí lorúkọ ètò náà? Best of traditional wedding. Ètò lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ traditional wedding ó lọ lọ́wọ́. Káwọn ti bẹ̀. Kí lorúkọ ètò náà? Best of traditional wedding. Ètò ìgbéyàwó tó kọ́ni lọ́gbọ́n. Best of traditional wedding. Every Tuesday on Instagram. Every Tuesday on Facebook. 6 p.m. UK time. Every Tuesday on Facebook. Ètò ìgbéyàwó tó fúnni lóye. Best of traditional wedding. Ètò ìgbéyàwó tó fúnni lóye. Best of traditional wedding. Ṣé káàbọ̀ sórí ètò yìí ẹ̀yin tèmi nílé lóko lẹ́yìn òde. Mo kára lé, mo kérò ọ̀nà, mo kọ́kùnrin, mo kóbìnrin, mo kọ́mọdé, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo kí àgbàlagbà wípé ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò yìí. Lórí ètò wa lẹ́wà lẹ́ni, ètò wa ètò yìí, ètò kan náà tí gbogbo wa mọ̀ sí Let's Talk Traditional Weddings and More, ètò ìgbéyàwó with Meettheroyals. Àmọ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìṣe wa lórí ètò yìí kó tó di pé aṣọ nǹkan a fẹ́ júbà ọba akọ́dá ayé, ọba ṣẹ̀dá ọ̀run, ọba àná, ọba ìní, ọba títa ayérayé kọrin kése, ẹlẹ́kùnrin ìkẹ́, ọba ẹni tó tó ní pa tó kọ̀ tí ò pa ni tó ṣe pé ṣe ló ń pa ní mọ́. A dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹni torí pé níwò yìí ìjẹjọ adágbére a ní à ń lọ kábọ̀ èèyàn náà lọ́jọ́ kó tún ṣe fún wa láti dé láyé àti láyé rere lénìí. Mo dúpẹ́ nítorí pé mo tún wá padà bá àwọn èèyàn tí mo fi sílẹ̀ lọ́sẹ̀ tó kọjá, mo tún padà wá dé bá gbogbo wọn ní ayọ̀ àti àlàáfíà. Olúwa ẹ gbọ́ ọpẹ́ wa, Olúwa ẹ gbà ìyìn wa, Olúwa ẹ gbà gbogbo ògo. Mo tún fẹ́ fi àsìkò yìí náà dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn tí wọ́n ń ṣagbátẹrù ètò yìí pàápàá jùlọ iléeṣẹ́ Chorus Jewels and Laces, iléeṣẹ́ tó gbangba sí lọ́yẹ́ níbi tó ti ń ta aṣọ ìyàwó, aṣọ ìyá ìyàwó lẹ fẹ́ ni, ti bàbá ìyàwó lẹ fẹ́ ni, tọmọ ìyàwó lẹ fẹ́ ni, aṣọ ìgbàlódé lẹ fẹ́ ni, àbí àwọn aṣọ àtijọ́ ó wà ní iléeṣẹ́ Chorus Jewels and Laces. Kódà wọ́n tún ní ẹ̀ka iléeṣẹ́ wọn kan gbòógì tí wọ́n ń pè ní Ready to Wear by Chorus Jewels and Laces. Iléeṣẹ́ Chorus Jewels and Laces ẹ ṣeun fún gbogbo gbà. Iléeṣẹ́ yóò ní jóná, ọwọ́ yín á máa ròkè. Mo tún fásitì yìí náà dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ iléeṣẹ́ Lizelle Fabrics all the way from Dallas, Texas. Lizelle Fabrics, thank you so much for your support from every week, every single week. We appreciate you. Also, mo tún fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ iléeṣẹ́ Celebration International Magazine. Iléeṣẹ́ Celebration International Magazine. Bí ẹ fẹ́ ká ẹyin kó wà lórí ẹ̀rọ ìgbàlódé tí a ń pè ní magazine, e-magazine ni ẹ fẹ́ polówó ọjà ni ẹ kàn sí iléeṣẹ́ Celebration International Magazine. Níbi tó ṣe wípé owó ṣíkí ní báyìí náà máa gbà lọ́wọ́ yín tó máa bá yín polówó ọjà yín. Abẹ́ tí ẹ fẹ́ ṣayẹyẹ, ẹ wá fẹ́ ká ayẹyẹ yín kó wà lórí magazine yìí, ẹ pè wọ́n Celebration International Magazine by Babs. Ẹ ṣe ẹ kú gbogbo gbà. Iléeṣẹ́ First Rate Global ní Ṣàgámù níbi tó ti báyọ̀ kọ́lé, tó ti báyọ̀ ralẹ̀, tó ti báyọ̀ fi owó ṣe àwọn nǹkan mèremère tó ṣe pé ẹ̀ní bọ́ sọ́wọ́ àwọn alágbèédá. Iléeṣẹ́ First Rate Global ẹ ṣeun ẹ kú gbogbo gbà. Thank you so much. Mo tún fẹ́ fàsìkò yìí náà dúpẹ́ lọ́gbà àwọn tí wọ́n ti darapọ̀ mọ́ mi. Arábìnrin olùgbé kan, Jebas Events, Mary Alaga, Dapirufi, and those on Facebook, I can't see your name. My people on YouTube, thank you so much for your support week in, week out. Èmi olóòtú ètò ìgbéyàwó ni mo tún kí yín nírọ̀lẹ́. Olúwabùnmi lèmi jẹ́ aya òṣìbẹ̀rù tí gbogbo ayé mọ̀ sí Meettheroyals, alága ìjókòó, MC. Olóòtú ètò ìgbéyàwó with godly swagger. Ẹ ṣeun ẹ kú àfi gbogbo bàbá bá wa dá sí ètò. Ní báyìí ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa, kó ló di pé a gbé àkórí ètò ní ìdé. Gbogbo wa náà láti mọ̀ pé ó ní bá ṣe máa ń ṣe ní ọ̀sẹ̀ọ̀sẹ̀. Àmọ́ lẹ́ni yìí wọ́n ta tí ẹ fẹ́ gbé sọ ó máa sọ ó ṣe kókó tó bẹ́ẹ̀ gẹ́ tó jẹ́ wípé ó fẹ́ bẹ̀yìn gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ti wà lórí ètò yìí pátápátá ẹ jọ oore kan tí máa ń bẹ̀ wá fún lọ́sẹ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ ni pé ẹ bá mi ké sí gbogbo àwọn èèyàn tí ẹ mọ̀ kọ́ máa wà lórí ètò yìí tó ṣe wípé bí á lè ní ẹ̀ tí ì rí wọn ẹ bá mi pè wọ́n wípé ètò ìgbéyàwó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Very important because what I first learned ó ṣe kókó gidigidi ni. So please, if you can please help me call on people that the show had started
I would really appreciate that. Ẹ jẹ́ fún mi ní ìṣẹ́jú kan péré. I'm trying to also copy the link and send to people because àwọn nǹkan sọ pé àwọn try láti join àwọn ò rí link yẹn kálẹ̀ ti send the link sáwọn ni àwa ti ṣe. Ẹ jẹ́ fún mi ní ìṣẹ́jú kan péré. Ẹ jẹ́ kí sáré copy link yìí kí fi ránṣẹ́ sí àwọn èèyàn. Thank you so much everybody for your patience. You know that this is like multitasking, you know. So please let me just copy the link and send to people so that we can go to today's show straight away. Mama Yodelogos, God bless you, ma. Thank you for being here all week in, week out. Honestly, I cannot appreciate it enough. Okay, ẹ ká gbá kò ní ètò tèmi jáde. Ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ lọ gbọ́ orin náà. Gẹ́gẹ́ bá ṣe máa ń ṣe ní ọ̀sẹ̀ọ̀sẹ̀. Let's just do this. Let me bring today's topic on board. I can see some people trying to message me already. Please give me a bit of time. I will respond to all messages. Please bear with me. God bless you. Thank you for your patience. Thank you so much. Okay, ẹ ká gbórin jáde. God bless you. Ẹ ṣé gan ni o. Ẹ jẹ́ bá wa máa dá sẹ́tẹ̀, ẹ jẹ́ ká máa gbóhùn yín o. Ẹ ká máa gbóhùn yín background ká mọ̀ pé wà lórí ètò. Facebook people, let me hear from you. God bless you. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay. God bless you, ma. Thank you, ma. I'm receiving some messages that is making me laugh already. Okay. Oh yeah, I want to guess that when you please share. Click on the share button. It's how I get it. Olórí alága 2020 thank you for joining. Oh yeah. Show some dance moves, people. Ẹ bá wa ráwọn èèyàn létí èkó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Oníṣèlú lọ́wọ́ kan wà. All right, people.
Ìbákíbá ìyẹn lè ga oníṣèlú lọ́mọ kan balẹ̀. Ìwọ máa lórí mi. Oníṣèlú lọ́mọ kan balẹ̀. Ìwọ máa lórí mi. Oníṣèlú lọ́mọ kan balẹ̀.
Àwọn tí a. Oh yeah, my people. Oh yeah, let's go there.
For better for worse, for poorer, yes or no. Go marry your wife. For better for worse,
for richer for poorer.
Marry my wife.
For better for worse, for richer for poorer.
Yes, I do.
Hey, Orijo, it's only this person that is dancing. What's going on? Hey, you know, man. Hey, Sakina Stella.
marry your man for better for worse.
For richer for poorer.
Yes or no? I go marry my man for better for worse.
For richer for poorer. Yes or no?
She go marry your man
For better for worse. For richer for poorer. Alága tẹ̀kí náà fẹ́ ra.
Ó ṣe kókó láyé. Bọ́mọ bíbí náà ṣe pàtàkì.
Ó yá.
Ìgbéyàwó ṣe kókó láyé.
Ó yá.
Bọ́mọ bíbí náà ṣe pàtàkì. Ìgbéyàwó ṣe kókó láyé.
Thank you, sis.
Bọ́mọ bíbí náà
Thank you,
ṣe
Buklam.
pàtàkì.
Ìgbéyàwó ṣe kókó láyé.
Bọ́mọ bíbí náà ṣe pàtàkì.
Ojú òye mọ nǹkan.
Olówó yẹn lọ́kọ tó bá ti fẹ́. Ìyàwó ẹ̀ náà lára rẹ̀ jòjòló. Ìgbéyàwó ṣe
Kókó láyé.
bọ́mọ bíbí náà ṣe pàtàkì.
Kẹ́kù ṣe kókó.
Olówó yẹn lọ́kọ tó bá ti fẹ́. Ìyàwó ẹ̀ náà lára
Ó dàbí kó má tán o. Kókó láyé.
bọ́mọ bíbí náà ṣe pàtàkì o. Ǹjẹ́ ní wáyà fẹ́ o? Ǹjẹ́ ní wáyà fẹ́? Ǹjẹ́ ní wáyà fẹ́ o? Ǹjẹ́ ní wáyà fẹ́? Ẹ̀fọ́ gbóhùn mi mọ bá lọ lè dàkàjẹ́. Ẹ̀fọ́ tún látà tó. Ǹjẹ́ ní wáyà fẹ́ o? Ǹjẹ́ ní wáyà fẹ́? Ǹjẹ́ ní wáyà fẹ́ o? Ǹjẹ́ ní wáyà fẹ́? Ẹ̀fọ́ ìgbóhùn mi mọ bá lọ lè dàkàjẹ́. Ẹ̀fọ́ tún látà tó.
I want to keep playing that music. It's so loaded. Thank you to the legendary Alhaji Saheed Òṣùpá Saridompi. In fact, that song is so loaded. It's called Marriage Affairs 1 by the amazing, the talented, the legend himself, Alhaji Saheed Òṣùpá Saridompi. He was talking about getting married is for better, for worse. Ìgbéyàwó ṣe kókó, báwọn bí ṣe ṣe pàtàkì. The marriage is for richer, for poorer, endurance, what have you. Everything is supposed to take place in marriage. So my people, what is today's topic? Today's topic is talking about the importance of endurance in marriage and the ability to be able to draw the line between endurance and abuse. Before we even proceed, people, let's talk about it. Ẹjọ́ kí ni definition endurance? Tóbìnrin bá lọ lé ọkọ, wàá máa gbọ́ táwọn òbí wọn máa sọ fún, ará ilé á sọ fún, ará òde á sọ fún, àforítì lèèyàn fi ń lọ lé ọkọ o, àforítì lèèyàn fi ń lọ lé ọkọ. Àwọn àgbàlagbà máa sọ fún àwọn ọkùnrin wípé sùúrù lèèyàn fi ń ṣọkọ obìnrin o, sùúrù lèèyàn fi ń ṣọkọ obìnrin. We all know that endurance in Yoruba means àforítì, but let's define it. What would you call àforítì? To you, if anybody can borrow me another word for endurance, what's endurance? Because sometimes when we come on this show, we start talking about a particular topic. If we don't put meaning to it, we may have to kind of just be talking and having it not established. So please, if you're on this show tonight, you're going to do me a favor. I know we have a few of us around. It's a Tuesday, some people are at work, and as I always say to people, please, if you are at work and you're busy and you can't talk, you can leave me a voice note to be part of this show, and you can type your message. I will receive it, or you can send me a voice note on +44 7828 500 938. But if you're free and you're able to call into this show, that would be much appreciated. You can also call in live by calling on the phone +44 7828 500 938, or you send me a request to be in this show live. What word can you use to describe endurance? What are those things that, because these days a lot of people talk about I'm gonna see you lafority. Children of nowadays, they don't even, they're not enduring on the smartphone. One thing, surulere kọ̀kọ̀ síbi kọ̀kọ̀ mọ́ wípé kí náà ṣe máa ń pè Ọlọ́run ṣògo everybody fẹ́ wà ń sìn. God bless you for joining me, says Chemostic Official Laga. Thank you for always. Now, people, let's first of all define the word endurance. Ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ sọ kí ni ìtumọ̀ àforítì. When we're talking about endurance, we're talking about àforítì as the word in Yorùbá. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ̀yin ìyá mi tẹ́ wà lórí ètò, tẹ́ bá jẹ́ pé mo gbé gbági ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ sọ fún mi, àbẹ́yìn bàbá mi tẹ́ wà lórí ètò yìí o. Ẹ káàbọ̀ mà. Ìyàwó bàbá tíá nìkan. Thank you so much, sis. Thank you for always. Yeah. So, and the music we listen to, bàbá yẹn sọ wípé àníṣe ìgbéyàwó ṣe kókó, bọ́mọ bíbí ṣe pàtàkì. Ìgbéyàwó is for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer. For whatever my eyes see inside there, I go collect time and use it to rub body like cream. Báwo ni bá ṣe máa sọ wípé nǹkan tó ju èèyàn bá rí nínú ìgbéyàwó kí wọ́n fi ṣòsùn kó fi para. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi, pàápàá jùlọ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ti wà nínú business yìí for some time. Pàápàá jùlọ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ti wà níbẹ̀ ṣíwájú àwa kan. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, kí ni à ń pè ní àforítì? Ẹ káàbọ̀ mà. God bless you, ìyàwó bàbá. Please, what the word endurance, what does it mean? What does it bring to you when you Facebook people, I can see that you are there. Please let me hear you say something. My Instagram people are very, very active. Hey, Alaga Corinthia. Thank you so much, my brother, for joining. We are talking tonight, for those that just joined us, what we're talking about tonight is in marriage. Can there be successful marriage without endurance? We believe there should be endurance in marriage. Personally, I don't think there can be a successful marriage without endurance. But we're talking about when do we draw the line between endurance and abuse. Now, let's first of all talk about the definition of endurance, and let's talk about the definition of abuse. Àforítì àti pé ká máa fi ìyà jẹ èèyàn nínú ìgbéyàwó, kí ni ìyàtọ̀? Oníkálukú ló dákẹ́. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ èèyàn, ẹ má dákẹ́. Ẹ jẹ́ ká sọ nígbà wo ni, how do I know? Okay, what word can I use to describe endurance? What other word can I use to describe the word endurance? Let's first of all take it from there. Torí nígbà mi téèyàn bá mọ̀ túmọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀, ó ṣeéṣe kéèyàn mọ̀ bí wọ́n ṣe máa ṣàgbékalẹ̀. Kí ni ìtumọ̀? What's the meaning of the word endurance? If you know any other word that I can use to describe the term endurance, please say it. Please let's comment. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n tẹ́ wà lórí ètò yìí, ẹ má dá mi dá. Endurance, what does it mean to you? Endurance, eléyìí tí àwa Yorùbá ń pè ní àforítì. What other word can we use to describe the word endurance? And also, can there be a successful marriage without endurance? Please, let's talk about this. Remember that you can call me on the mobile phone +44 7828 500 938. You can send me a voice note if you're busy. Also, you can actually call to be in this show to have your say, or you simply leave your comment and I will read it out. So we have 4 options on how we can be part of this show. Thank you for joining me, sis Ayalayo Music. So please, ladies and gentlemen, if you can hear me tonight, if you can hear me, let me know you can hear me. And we're talking about, is it possible for there to be a successful marriage without endurance? And what does the word endurance mean to you? At what point do we draw the line between endurance and abuse? Because láti gbàtàláyé ti dáyé ni wọ́n ti máa ń sábà gba àwọn lọ́kọláya tí wọ́n máa ń ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ fẹ́ra wọn níyànjú wípé àforítì, pàápàá jùlọ obìnrin wọn ní àforítì o, àforítì lèèyàn fi ń lọlé ọkọ o, àforítì. Nígbà míì àwọn bàbá wa máa sọ fún àwọn ọkùnrin pé sùúrù lèèyàn fi ń ṣọkọ obìnrin o, sùúrù o lèèyàn fi ń ṣọkọ obìnrin. So, kí ni ìtumọ̀ sùúrù tó ń sọ yìí? Kí ni ìtumọ̀ endurance? Thank you so much, arábìnrin Sekina Teller. Thank you so much. It's been a while. It feels so great to have you back on this show after such a long time. She says tolerance, yes, very, very much it, much so. Tolerance, perseverance, patience, and all comes to mind. Thank you so much. So, in other words, we can say the word endurance. We can have like synonyms of words that are similar to endurance, to be tolerance, to be perseverance, to be patience. You know, you have to be patient. You have to be patient. And the same thing that Yahweh Baba has said, perseverance. Àforítì àti ìfaradà. Àforítì, ìfaradà, sùúrù. Òun ni Yorùbá, òun ni ọ̀rọ̀ tí àsọdálẹ̀ tó ń pè ní àforítì. Àforítì can be, àbí ìfaradà, àbí sùúrù, wọ́n jọ bára wọn mu. It can be called tolerance, perseverance, patience, and all. Now, we want to draw the line between all those things and abuse. So, what is abuse? Now, let's come to term, because a lot of times, when people complain or they suddenly realize that maybe they gba gbogbo eléyìí mọ́ o, ó ti fẹ́ bọ́ sí bí ìgbà pé èèyàn bá fìyà jẹyàn lójú tèmi. So, abuse. When does tolerance, perseverance, patience, endurance, when does it get to a point where you begin to feel what's the abuse? You know, that's what we're talking about tonight. So let's now let's define the word abuse. We've talked about the meaning of endurance. Hey, thank you for coming on the show, ma'am. We miss you for 2 episodes now. God bless you. Thank you for coming. Now, our topic tonight is talking about endurance in marriage. We have asked ourselves 3 different questions tonight. Number 1, can there be a successful marriage without the endurance? That's number 1. So anyone you want to answer, please do answer as we go along. Number 2 question is, what exactly do we call endurance? And people have answered. Oh, God bless you, ma. People have answered. People said endurance can be tolerance, it can be perseverance, it can be patience, it can even be compromise. If I may put it, if I may add that, compromise, when you kind of, okay, this is the usual me, but for the sake of this relationship, for it to work, for the sake of this marriage, I'm going to compromise. Am I right? Please correct me if I'm wrong. So, we can categorize endurance. And then we now also ask ourselves, what is abuse? And the last question we asked was, when do we draw the line between endurance, perseverance, patience, and being able to reach compromise? When do we draw the line between that and abuse? And as in order for us to be able to do that successfully, we want to talk about what is abuse. Thank you so much, Arabiri Sekina Tella. When you're using one's position to maltreat another. I love that. I'm actually going to capitalize on the word maltreat. When it now becomes, it's no longer that more farad that only peki in company that. So what do we pay our more fear maltreat? I like the word maltreat. Using your position to maltreat the other person. Maybe not find ourselves in an abusive relationship. And we've said it tonight that it's something that is so important for you to have a successful marriage. There has to be abuse. And abuse is a repeated violence or cruelty in marriage or any form of relationship at all. So when we're talking about abuse, we're talking about using your position to maltreat the other. We're talking about repeatedly, being violent towards the other person, or when you're being cruel. Now, we need to talk about all these things. Endurance is good. There's nothing wrong in being endurance. Nowadays, we realize that a lot of people, they cannot even endure, which we need to actually talk about. We cannot endure. Nowadays, people are so quick. People are so fast. They just want to get to that, peak. They just want to get to where the soup is being cooked and is ready to serve. Ìfaradà ẹjọ́ ṣó yẹ kí èèyàn bọ́ sínú ìgbéyàwó with the intention that mi ò lè farada. I've seen a lot of videos. It's just that these days Facebook is warning us about sharing certain videos. I've seen a lot of videos because if it involves violence, they're going to kind of flag you or think that you're promoting violence. That's why I wanted to share some videos before today, but because I don't want them to block me, I have a lot of friends that have been blocked off Facebook, and I can't afford to be blocked because of my show. So, but the one that really bothers me is when you see some young people, they are being interviewed and they're asking them some questions. The way they will answer, when I hear words like that, it's a little bit scary. So when people want to get to where it's already done and everything is perfect, what kind of advice can we give to those kind of young generation when all they want to do is just get their kidney, I mean, if someone does not enjoy with the spouse, how are you supposed to enjoy that person? Is it always going to be that the water is already, fetched, the soup is cooked and is served, and the only thing you just do is to get there and eat? So please, people, I would like to hear from us about how we can advise the young people on the importance of endurance in marriage. And a lot of people are saying, don't call it now, no matter, and some men as well, some people say the reason why they cannot enjoy with some men. Some people say, tó bá bá wọn jẹ̀yà tó ń sìn, tó wọn bá bèkú dà tó ń sìn, náà máa ní pé èèyàn ò fit àwọn mọ́. So all those things are the reasons behind people saying they don't believe in unnecessary endurance, so that's why some young people are actually saying, no, or endurance because they just change all of a sudden. They don't even remember that you have been there with them. How true is this? Is it true that most women that suffer with men, there's a common belief that if you're a man and you put up with it's not only for women, no, there are some men that actually put up with some women. I've seen men that will actually train and raise their wives from secondary school to wherever, just putting up with that person until the person becomes well established, and then after the person is now established, all of a sudden you suddenly realize that this is not my spec. That's what they normally use, and these things are not supposed to be like that. It's not supposed to be that people that suffer with you and endure with you don't get to a point where you say, no, I don't want to be part of them. So people, let's talk about the thin line between enduring and abuse. Okay, we've talked about endurance. People have messaged me, they've commented, they've said that endurance is being able to put up with this person, being able to have patience with them, being able to persevere, being able to have patience with them. Now, when does it become abuse? How can endurance, turn to abuse? I just want to talk about that, because sometimes a lot of people, they're mistaking one for the other. There's absolutely nothing wrong in putting up with your spouse, supporting and everything. But when it becomes abusive is when we need to know. Let's draw the line between abuse and endurance. Let me read the comment from Sekina. She said, from what I've seen, a lot of younger people are very cautious as a defense mechanism, having witnessed a lot of toxicity in marriage from older generations. That's so true. I do know a lot of young people, actually, there's some that are even actually saying, no, we're trying to counsel them because they made up their minds that they're not going to get married because of what they've seen happen to their parents or a relative, the way they are being treated in marriage. So it's so important that we put the right, how do I put it now? Impression. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Let's put the right impression out there about what marriage should be, So thank you so much for that contribution. HTV event, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. I would like to hear from you, Basha B, Becky Waremo. Thank you for joining. I would like to hear from your own point of view as well. We have said that it is good to be able to endure in marriage. Now, let's talk about the thin line between between endurance and abuse, and how this can be cautioned, or I have to speak a lot of English nowadays because a lot of my viewers are coming to me and saying, we love your show, but you're always speaking a language we don't understand. Can you speak English so that all of us can enjoy and partake of this? That's why I speak English nowadays. But so that a wider audience can enjoy the show. That's why you see me speaking English nowadays. Now, talking about being able to draw the line between the two is so important. And I would say that sometimes when people now say because you've been enduring something and they now have you don't have the capacity at the beginning to do that thing, and they say, the job before it now, please, my husband or my wife, please help me to endure this. Come on now, it's just for some time. And then you now eventually have that thing or opportunity to be able to do better, and you say because you're putting father, that's your joy now. To me, that's abuse. Please correct me if I'm wrong. As I always say on this show, I don't come here to come and tell us that this is how it should be done, this is how it's supposed to be. I come here every week to come and learn from other people's point of view, and also for me to bring out my own view so that we can talk about it together. Now, abuse, they are of different kinds. What can be counted as abuse? Let's mention it. I mean, what are you to you? And it will be nice. Some people are commenting, some people are not. Some people are very good listeners, but it will be good for you to listen and also to partake. What are the things that can be categorized as abuse? Let me mention what kind of abuse. I want abuse. I know there is the one that is very popular. When they say domestic abuse, when they start hitting you, then it's an abuse. What other kind of abuses do we have? Let's talk about it. Domestic violence, domestic abuse, fine. But there are other ways that these things do happen. And it does sometimes happen in the most subtle way that you can never even suspect. Thank you, Arabri Sekina. She said, I agree, ma. Also, we must note that abuse is emotional, financial, psychological, etc. Thank you so much. Somebody's talking about sexual abuse. Wow. Somebody's talking about verbal abuse. Verbal abuse, wow. Somebody's talking about financial abuse. Now, talking about sexual abuse. Wow. Between married couples, sexual abuse. Joe, I want you to shed more light on that. Dummy event. Please help us to shed more light, because there are some things that the society just does not believe. For example, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? So, how can sexual abuse happen between married couples? Ṣó possible ṣá? Ṣó possible kí sexual abuse kó ṣẹlẹ̀ láàrin ọkọ téèyàn fẹ́ sí ìyàwó àtọkọ tó ti jọ fẹ́ra wọn ní ṣùlọ́kà? Ìyàwó bàbá, are you responding to my comments, ma? You said yes. How can sexual abuse happen between married couple? Married couple, ṣé wọ́n ti fẹ́ra wọn? I mean, like some people have said to me, actually they are married now. It's not possible for there to be sexual abuse. And in what form can sexual abuse happen? Somebody said, Sekina Atala, she said, unfortunately, yes. And it's not taken seriously enough. Endurance, putting up with a down face in the marriage. Thank you so much. I like that. And Instagram, she said, abuse is putting up with the evil. Let me look at this. Instagram, she said, abuse is putting up with the evil wife or husband, or husband's repetitively does to the husband or wife that nobody knows about. Wow. Endurance is putting up with a down face in the marriage. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for that, Instagram. Damlek Event. I hope I said your name right. Please pardon me if I didn't. She said, when one of the couple didn't agree. That's another way. Because when we hear the word abuse, sexual abuse, maybe the only thing that comes to people's mind is we are rape. But sometimes when you use it as a weapon, please, Damlek, if I'm wrong, if that is what you mean to say, please correct me. When you use your body as a weapon to your spouse, or what is whether it's a man depriving the wife of not meeting their sexual needs, or the wife purposely using your body as a weapon to fight your husband, they said it is sexual abuse. Sexual abuse could also mean that the person is being forced. Whether you are interested or you are not interested, by fire, by force, you must do it. Please correct me if I'm wrong. That is also sexual abuse. And somebody just mentioned that it is not being taken seriously enough. A lot of times when you came in, even sometimes they can't even say it out. Alright, bedroom, they just wave it. But people are dying in silence because of this little thing that we're talking about. Yahweh Baba said, some men believe that they have rights to their wife's body, irregardless of the woman's opinion. Wow. It's true that you have right to the body, but there has to be consent. Yeah, there has to be consent. I believe that the woman should give consent. And sometimes even when the woman don't give, you don't force her, you don't force her in a violent way, but you insist or you impose yourself on them to a point that the woman says, okay, have your way and just go. I still believe it is sexual abuse. It should be agreed between both of you. Instagram says types of abuse are domestic, emotional, physical, financial, sexual, verbal, and spiritual. Wow, I would like to know more about that spiritual abuse. All the other ones you mentioned are kind of common. Please, Instagram, can you talk more about spiritual abuse? I would like to hear more about that. Chemostic says, yes, sexual abuse happens in a marriage. Wow. All along, I used to think, that sexual abuse cannot take place in marriage because they actually want to marry now. But on Latin boy, when a woman deprive her body, when you deprive your husband and access to your body, and vice versa, or a man that impose himself on the woman, whether she's ready or not, is also sexual abuse in marriage. May the Lord help us. Okay. MC Tude Bella, thank you for joining us. Somebody said rape is possible even within the institution of marriage. Wow. It shouldn't be like that. There should be consent. But why do you think people get to the point where they feel like, maybe the person has been deprived for too long? So how do people handle it? For example, it is easier for a man to impose themselves on a woman or to force themselves on a woman. It's usually not as easy the other way around. But what about if this person has been deprived of access to them for too long and the other person cannot hold it anymore? Maybe at one point just get what I mean by now. You know me by that. Do we still call that abuse? Because all these things, no, it be as it gets to. Alaga Joke Amodedo, thank you so much, sis, for joining. I appreciate you. Auntie Tony Ashamu, thank you so much, ma. God bless you. It's been a while. Good to see you again, ma. Arabiri Lydia Badmos on Facebook, thank you so much. Chemostic says anything that is unwanted in marriage, sexually, that's unwanted in marriage sexually between spouses is sexual abuse. I still need answer to that question. When the person has endured, kò fún mi ṣe lẹ́ni, kò fún mi ṣe next week, kò fún mi ṣe in 2 weeks time, kò dẹ̀ fẹ́ lọ ṣe ṣìnà ń ta, because tó bá fẹ́ lọ ṣe ṣìnà níta wọ́n á tún ní pé lọ ṣe ṣìnà tó wà wò pé you know what, arábìnrin mo sanwó orí ẹ̀ now. Would you call that abuse? Please, I'm not supporting violence. I'm just asking question here. How do we handle that? Sister Kenny says this goes both ways. Either man or woman can be an abuser sexually in marriage. Thank you so much, ma. Auntie Tony said we still have to exercise choice even in marriage. Thank you, ma. Becky, thank you so much, sis, for joining. She says sexual abuse in Nigeria isn't taken seriously. Wow. Due to our backward society. But in the Western world, any offender, either the husband or wife, will be jailed if found guilty. Child, it's a serious matter. Spiritual abuse. Please talk about it. Hey, it's interesting. I would like to hear that. Instagram says spiritual abuse happens when someone uses religion to hurt, scare, threaten, or control you. Wow. I never thought of this. Spiritual abuse. I really like you to still shed more light on when you use your religion to hurt, to scare, to threaten, or to control the other person. Wow. Religion, this is interesting because I've been hearing about all different kinds of abuse. I never knew there was something called spiritual abuse. Or I think from what she has just said now, I think I understand. And when you impose your religion on another person, for example, maybe when we wanted to get married, I told you I'm a Christian, and you say it's okay, don't worry, you can practice your religion, and then I marry you, insist I have to practice your own religion. I think that's part of spiritual abuse as well. When you impose your religion on people, force me to practice your religion, whether you cajole me to do it or you say things that will scare me so that I don't have a choice than to follow you. Thank you so much, Instagram. That's a very powerful contribution, and I'll take that on board from now on. Yawo Baba, she's just done. She said she's sleeping. She has to go to work. I hope she gets to see this later. Thank you. Thank you so much for that very powerful contribution on Instagram. She has shed more light on spiritual level. Better ways than to rape. There are better ways than to rape. There are better pathway than to rape. Arabri said, cannot tell her if my husband has deprived me of sex for so long, or if I have deprived my husband of sex for so long, so long that the man has really endured. You know that we're talking about being able to strike a balance, being able to draw the line between abuse and endurance. And I've endured this. I've endured okay, I keep enduring. And I've already, at this point, I know that she's capable mentally, physically, health-wise, she's fine. Nothing is wrong with her, but she's just using it as a weapon to not let me have access to her body. And I don't want to go outside and do what we call what's that? I know fornication is when you are not yet married, but when you are married, what's the adultery? Yes, I don't want to go into adultery, and the woman is refusing to let me have. So, and I impose myself on her. And I said, is that abuse? Is that abuse? Because I've endured to sue me. Somebody also says spiritual abuse will be using any religion to bully or control your spouse, especially a man force a woman to practice his religion or vice versa. Thank you. Shemu Adams, thank you for joining. Kemosik says, I know of a sister who the husband would forcefully have a backside sex with her for years. The woman cried every day for years before they finally divorced, which is pure sexual abuse as a matter of fact. Kai, honestly, that is one of the worst things that anybody can do. Now, let us talk about this thing that Kemosika has just said. Because some of us, we have more sexual appetite than the other. If I'm struggling to meet up the sexual appetite of my spouse, and when I'm talking about sexual appetite, I'm talking about how often the person wants it, how long the person wants it, whether man to woman or woman to man, and I've done everything within my own capacity. And I said, like this one now, is a part of sexual appetite that is very strange. When you insist that you have to have sexual intercourse with your wife from the backside, and the woman doesn't find it funny, and you are insisting. Even some fight because of oral sex. I've seen that a lot. Yes, she said that, yes. And I've seen that a lot where some people genuinely does not believe in certain way of making love, and the other person believe in it, and this person is insisting that you have to do it my own way. Some people don't believe in oral sex. Maybe their religion does not permit it, or they just from their own school of thoughts or morals, they just believe it's not right. Should you be forced to do it? These are the little things that people are going through. Somebody said adultery, adultery, yes, adultery, yes. Thank you so much, Harry. Becky says rape is very bad, even if a partner deprives the other. So I don't have any excuse for saying, that's why I impose. I don't have any excuse. There should be no excuse whatsoever. Somebody said, in this world we live in now, sex is the cheapest thing around. It's better to get it outside and rape. I would rather say that just let that person go if it's not working, rather than go outside and come back because of disease and all of those things. Somebody said, no, within the same religion, or for example, if you feel you are more spiritual than another person, you've been Christian longer, okay, or a man is a pastor and think he's better than you. That's true. That happens a lot. Thank you for that clarification on Instagram. That happens a lot. And you start threatening the person. That he fast 40 days and 40 nights. You married a pastor, I'm a sister when you married me, you were a pastor. Àbí mommy pastor tó jẹ́ pé pastor lẹ́yìn, you now married an ordinary brother in church. His spiritual level is not as deep as yourself, and you are insisting that they have to do exactly what you're doing. What if the person does not have the power to do so, the ability to do so, or the strength to do so, and you are threatening them and making life miserable for them? I see that as spiritual violence. For Instagram, you are the best. God bless you. Sekina Teller says, medical checks for libido, counseling, sexual therapy, etc. should be explored. Thank you. Please, I don't know who is watching this or who might be watching this later. All these things we are talking about, what are people going to discuss last Sunday? Do you know that some people are actually shake, right? Who are not going to test at all? For all these little things we are talking about, we've talked about spiritual abuse, which a lot of people find strange. But from all this analysis, now we're talking about sexual abuse and ways that it can be handled. If your spouse have way more sexual appetite than yourself, that you're finding it difficult to cope, look, suggestion only medical checks for libido, counseling, sexual therapy, and etc. should be explored. The generation that we are in now, ayé ti lajú, ayé ìgbà kan lójú máa ń tìyàn láti sọ àwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan síta. Listen, help is out there. Seek for help. Don't sit down in that marriage and suffer in silence. If your husband or your wife's àwọn ọmọ sí wa máa gbọ́ hádà people that bá tẹ̀lé ṣe hádà ẹjọ́. How do we go about it? There's nothing wrong in seeking for help, counseling, like somebody has said. Seek for medical attention, seek for medical support, seek for counseling, check for medical check for libido, and all those, etc. Thank you. Chemostic says that is why the reason spouses should have a mutual understanding. However, if we have to critically evaluate, things like this happen in an unstable and shaky marriage. May God help us all. Yes, you're right, ma. So we should be close enough. Yeah, we should be close enough. I mean, we should be close enough as couples to discuss certain things and to look for ways out, you know. And when it is becoming to the point that we can't talk about certain things, that's when it becomes shaky and dangerous and not being able to and then people, that's what I always say to people. Moments of family, anybody back best story about me. I will never ever tell you who they could fara down, because I don't know the level of ability for that person to be able to hold that endurance. You know, you can advise them to take it easy, but don't ever blame people or blame anybody for whatever decision they want to take. You can calm them down, but don't condemn them, don't judge them, don't say, can you only for question now? What about bad day? About from another angle that I'm not understanding, you know. So we need to talk about all these things. It's so important. Thank you so much, everybody, for all your contributions. Let me read what Sister Becky said. Okay, she's just laughing. Please, yes, some women are like that. You know, somebody said, well, there is medical check for libido. Yeah, I'm sure there will be. You know, and something that we can check out. Somebody said, yes, a lot of factors impact libido and hypersexuality. Then another thing is experience. Some are novice. You are a novice, you marry a gigolo. You know that only work, you know. And if you want it to work, you're going to have to breed the person, help the person get to the point where you yourself, you know, you can at least meet up, and don't expect miracle overnight. Okay, you have been everywhere. Maybe the spouse you married, but you're could experience, and you want that person to meet up with you just straight away. It's not going to be as easy. So sometimes we need patience, and that's what I call about endurance and being able to wait for that person to get to your level. And of course, like Sekina said, we need to seek counsel, seek support. There's nothing to be shy about, you know. Yeah, but you say yeah, Elana, Abio, our Lana, Apogon, me take people show I see people content for you, you can don't understand anything. Don't model. So yeah, Baba said Kemosi will not kill me. She will not kill us. It is well. So people, ladies and gentlemen, abuse abuse and endurance is good. Afarada, àforítì, sùúrù ó dáa o. In fact, children of nowadays, I will say, no, me, I don't have time for any endurance, so I don't have time for any patience, so I don't have to, no, they can't go anywhere because where you're going, you don't even know where you're going to meet them. It's very good to endure, but be able to discern when it gets to abuse. I know people that believe that they are actually enduring, and everybody can actually see that tó bá ti bọ́ síyà ìyẹn ni ò dáa. It's good to endure. I am of that school of thought. Where we come from, they teach us young people to endure. When I was getting married, one of the things my parents said to me was, ìforítì lèèyàn fi ń lolé ọkọ o, ìfaradà lèèyàn fi ń lolé ọkọ o, elékọ̀kìnìkan. But when it comes to a point where it's now getting out of hand, I have every right to react and to look for a way out. Don't stay in an abusive relationship. Don't stay in a toxic relationship all in the name of speak out to seek help. Now, let's talk about ways we can help people. Because nowadays everybody is careful. Nobody wants to talk. Yes, so Gen Z, be Ọlọ́run ṣògo. Yes, so they want to go Ọlọ́run ṣògo. They can't be bothered. Now, let's talk about ways. If I happen to see someone in an abusive relationship and the person is does not know way out, or the person does not understand how they can get out of that. I'm not saying get out of the relationship, that you can help yourself, because sometimes even they don't abuse it, only mama don't abuse it. For example, the spiritual one that we're talking about, when a pastor think that because I'm a pastor, then you have to also fight. You have to also fast for 40 days and 40 nights, because I can fast for 40 days, and if I don't do it, I'm in trouble. And I'm saying, Obey. You are insisting I have to. How do I help that kind of person? How do we counsel even the abuser? Some abusers are absolutely unaware they are doing that to their spouse. For example, there are some teachings that they hear halfway. Maybe they just cut a part of a preaching and they put it on the internet, and that goes viral, and everybody start focusing on that. When was the last time you let your husband shaking it or can he come to you? When was your husband with all these messages nowadays that he just cut 1 minute out of 30 minutes preaching? And then the pastor will get to him and say, hey, you see, Pastor so a well-respected man of God has said that issue. How do we counsel? How do we help people that are abusive without them knowing, and those that are in an abusive relationship, the victim and the perpetrator, if that's the word we should use? How can you go about it? Because nowadays, how do we help somebody out of an abusive relationship? And as somebody who is in an abusive relationship, how can you fight back? And when I say fight, I'm not saying take violence for violence. How can you help yourself out? How can you let the person abusing you know that, look, this thing you're doing is no longer coming from the place of love. It's no longer coming from the place that I can endure or not. It's coming from the place of wickedness. It's coming from the place of abuse, and I don't feel comfortable with it. Is there anything wrong in me speaking out? How do I seek for help? Please, people, let's talk about this, because there's a lot of people out there. I'm not lying. People are going through a lot. And when you tell the person that is, abusing someone that they are abusing, they look at you like, Kenny Moshe, what's the big deal? Because to them, they don't see anything wrong. Because you've been taking it, accepting, and all of a sudden you say you don't want to accept it. The person will look like, it's just going to And as we said, abuse is so many ways. I believe that when you will not take as Kalakama people call it, don't take it. What we don't take as a rich person, don't take it as a pauper. Once they start saying things to you that you're not comfortable with, feel free to explain to them that I don't feel comfortable with that kind of joke, even if it's your spouse. I don't feel comfortable you addressing me the way you have just addressed me. Some men will talk to their wife in front of people in a very, very nasty way, and then it makes the woman feel less of who they are. When it becomes both of you, feel free to let the man know, I don't like the way you talk to me in front of everybody. Talk to me better. And if they don't listen, you need to kind of look for a way of getting the message across to them. We've talked about financial abuse. If somebody is depriving you, I know someone that actually not just being deprived, she was being deprived access to her own money by her own husband. The husband wasn't working for a very long time. She was not working. And this man will actually deprive her access to her own money. She can't buy a penny worth of anything without the man's consent. And she worked for the money. To me, that is extreme. And also, financial abuse could also be a spouse that is spending more than the family is earning. There are some women that are very lavish. They go beyond their means. They put the family in trouble. They spend so much that the family gets into debt. All these things, there are so many of them. There's no way we're going to be able to finish talking about them today. But we all know a lot of amazing contributions ever since this show has started. Endurance is good in marriage. Endurance is good. Anybody tí kò bá lè farada kan kò lè ṣe ìgbéyàwó. In fact, you cannot be in marriage if you cannot endure. Endure is good. It's good to endure. But you should be able to know when to strike a balance between being abused or what I want to draw the line. That's the word. There's no striking a balance. It is like being able to draw the line between being abused and what you call endurance. You should know. And we've talked about a lot of ways on how to go about it. Seek for counsel, seek for help. Don't keep quiet. If you see anybody that is helpless in an abusive relationship, you can help them out with wisdom, because I've done one before that nearly ended me in trouble. I nearly ended up in trouble. But I've learned more now. I've learned more that I can help. I will not look away. One thing I will not do is I will not look away. Because especially when this is violent, when it's domestic violence in come and shake, I won't look away, because looking away, God forbid, if that person died, you share part of the guilt that I could have done something. But obviously, there are ways to go about it without getting in trouble. Marriage is supposed to be enjoyed. Marriage can be endured, but it should never get to a point of abuse. My people, I don't know how to say thank you to you guys tonight. It's been a very, very awesome episode of our ETO IGBEYAWO today. I want to appreciate everybody that have said one thing or the other in this show for comments. It really keeps me occupied throughout this show. Lágbára Ọlọ́run, gbogbo wa tá bá wà nínú ìgbéyàwó, we will abuse lórúkọ Jésù. We will enjoy our marriages, we will enjoy our marriage, we will enjoy our homes. And I don't know who is watching this tonight, going through this thing we are talking about, abuse and everything. There's no stigma for living. There's no stigma for deciding to look for safety, look for safety. Seek for help. There's no stigma to it. And if you're on this show, you're watching me, you are the type of people that are stigmatizing people that run away from abuse. Please stop it. There's nothing wrong in people seeking for help. So thank you so much, everybody. I've been saying, a great show as always, ma. Thank you so much. Thank you. There's so many people online tonight. Mostik, Lam Taiwo, Lolberry, thank you so much. Becky Warem on Instagram. Yawo Baba, Awelewa, Kemostik, Beck, a lot of people. I'm sorry if I miss out your name. There's no way I'm going to be able to mention everybody's name. Your contribution goes a long way tonight, and I'm super grateful for all your contributions. Mo tún ti ń lọ ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi gẹ́gẹ́ bí mo ṣe máa ń dágbére ní ọ̀sẹ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ wípé èmi Olúwabùnmi aya Òṣìbẹ̀rù lílọ ni mo ń lọ yìí. Àdúrà tí wọ́n fi gbogbo ọ̀sẹ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ gbà ní wípé gbogbo ó lọ kò dé kò ní bá mi. Gbogbo ó dé kò bá wọn kò ní bá yín lágbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run. Bí iṣẹ́ lọ lẹ́ni ayọ̀, ìdùnnú àti àlàáfíà tí mo fi ń sí, òun náà ni máa padà wá bá yín lọ́sẹ̀ tó ń bọ̀ lágbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run. Wọn ò ní fẹ́ni kankan nínú wa ṣàwátì, àní bá wọn kúkú òjijì, àní kúkú ọ̀wọ̀ọ̀wọ̀, a ò ní rìn níjọ́ tí ibi ń pọ̀nà. Gbogbo ẹni tó wà lórí ètò yìí, ìgbéyàwó wa tó bá ń lárinrin kò ní dìbàjẹ́. Àwọn tó ń bẹ Ọlọ́run pé kọ́lọ́run kó dá sí ìgbéyàwó á ṣe. Ìjà wa rí ọ̀pọ̀ lórí ètò ìtẹ́kùn òun ojú Ọlọ́run pé jọ́wọ́ ló tó dá Ọlọ́run á ṣe ìyanu. Ọlọ́run á ṣọkọ fópó. Gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n wojú Ọlọ́run á ṣe ìyanu fún wọn. Ó sì lọ́sẹ̀ tó ń bọ̀ lágbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run láti máa padà wá sórí ètò yìí. Àmọ́ kó tó dìgbà náà mo sọ wípé láyọ̀ la ó máa pàdé o. Mo ní láyọ̀ la ó máa pàdé o. ìsàbíkun èmi ò ní fẹsẹ̀ kọ mọ́tò yòówù ká lè wọ̀ kò ní forí sọ̀gì o láyọ̀ láyọ̀ la ó máa láyọ̀ láyọ̀ la máa pàdé láyọ̀ láyọ̀ la ó máa pàdé o. Thank you so much, everybody. See you next week by the special grace of God. God bless you. Bye. Hey. Thank you, everybody.
Gbogbo olólùfẹ́ rẹ̀ ń retí rẹ̀ ní Best of Traditional Wedding. Ẹ̀bùn lóríṣiríṣi many gifts away. Best of Traditional Wedding. Kí lorúkọ ètò náà? Best of Traditional Wedding. Ètò ìgbéyàwó tó kọ́ni lọ́gbọ́n. Best of Traditional Wedding. Ṣé ti gbọ́? Ètò Best of Traditional Wedding ló lọ lọ́wọ́.
Come on, keep there.
Kí lorúkọ ètò náà? Best of Traditional Wedding. Ètò ìgbéyàwó tó kọ́ni lọ́gbọ́n. Best of Traditional Wedding. Every Tuesday on Instagram, every Tuesday on Facebook, 6 p.m. UK time, every Tuesday on Facebook. Ètò ìgbéyàwó tó fúnni lóye. Best of Traditional Wedding. Ètò ìgbéyàwó tó fúnni lóye. Best of
Traditional Wedding. See you next week by the grace of God. God bless you. Bye. Thank you.